Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for asking my husband if I can cheat on him after finding out he cheated on me? With update, I, 32F, recently became a mom to a beautiful 3-month-old baby girl. I live in a big Indian joint family, and I feel really blessed with how much love and support I've received from my in-laws. My husband, 32M. My in-laws, 2 brothers-in-law BILs, 3 sisters-in-law SILs, and a few teenage nieces all live under the same roof, and my in-laws truly treat me like their daughter. My husband and I have been married for a few years, and I honestly thought we were solid. The trouble started during one of our family's regular dress-up nights, a fun little tradition we have where everyone in the family dresses up and spends the evening together, laughing, taking pictures, and just enjoying each other's company. I especially love these nights because of my nieces. They're teenagers, and it's always a blast seeing how excited they get about picking out outfits and having fun. However, during this particular dress-up night, my mother-in-law pulled me aside. She seemed a little uncomfortable, but told me there was something I needed to see. She showed me some WhatsApp messages that my husband had mistakenly sent to her instead of another woman. He had sent them thinking they were going to this woman, and they were clearly romantic and suggestive. From the way the messages were worded, it was obvious he had been having an affair with her. My MIL said he probably deleted the messages for him instead of for everyone and didn't notice. When I confronted my husband, he didn't deny it. In fact, he admitted that he had been cheating on me. What hurt me the most was how he tried to justify it. He said that men have needs, and because I was pregnant and then recovering after childbirth, he wasn't getting what he needed from me. He claimed that it was just physical and meant nothing. It felt like he was brushing off my feelings, as if what he did was no big deal just because it wasn't emotional for him. But it was a huge deal for me. I was shattered. Here I was, still recovering from childbirth, physically and emotionally exhausted from taking care of our newborn, and he was running around behind my back. I was angry and hurt beyond words, and in the heat of the moment, I lashed out. I asked him, if it's just physical, should I go find someone else too? I wanted him to understand how it felt to be on the receiving end of betrayal. He got furious. He stormed out, claiming I was being disrespectful and that I went too far by suggesting I could cheat on him in return. Now, here's where things get complicated. My in-laws are all on my side. They are furious with my husband for what he's done, and they've made it clear they don't support his behavior. They've been incredibly supportive of me and our baby, which I deeply appreciate. They are even on my side if I decide to divorce him. However, when I talked to my own mother about this, she told me I took things too far by saying I cheat on him. She said I should have handled it differently, without stooping to his level. But that wasn't the only thing she told me. Apparently, my mom had known about the affair for a while. She had seen my husband with this other woman at some point, but didn't tell me because she didn't want her granddaughter to grow up without a father. I'm devastated. Not only did my husband cheat, but my own mother kept it from me. I understand she had her reasons, but I feel completely betrayed by the people closest to me. Now, my husband is upset, claiming that my comment about cheating on him was out of line, even though it was made in the heat of the moment, fueled by his betrayal. My mom also seems to think I went too far, even though she knew about his affair and chose to stay silent. So here I am, trying to make sense of everything. My in-laws are on my side, my husband is mad at me, and my mom thinks I should have kept my cool. AITA for asking if I could cheat on my husband after finding out he cheated on me. Should I have handled this differently? Note, I never want to cheat, it was just to make him understand how crazy he sounded. Update, it's currently 3:35 a.m., and I can't sleep. I'm lying here in my in-laws' house, and the only ones who seem to be sleeping are the kids. I just needed to share what's been happening since my last post. First of all, thank you for all the supportive comments. They've really helped me feel less alone in this mess. So, after I posted my original message at 1 a.m., I couldn't shake the feeling of guilt that was swirling inside me. My mother keeps insisting that my husband's cheating was a one-time mistake, and I should just stay for the sake of our daughter. But I know deep down that it's so much more complicated than that. Finding out about the affair was a blow I never saw coming, especially during our family dress-up night, when my mother-in-law pulled me aside to tell me. Since then, my in-laws have kicked my husband out of the house, and they've been incredibly supportive. They really treat me like family, which is a relief because my own dad was more of a ghost in my life than an actual father. It's hard to explain how grateful I am for their support during this chaotic time. They've stepped in and made it clear that they're on my side, which has been comforting. But I can't shake the feeling that I need to figure out who his affair partner is. I have this nagging suspicion that it might be my best friend, Tara, as I saw him use that name in some of the texts he accidentally sent my mother-in-law. The thought makes me sick. I don't want to believe it, but it's hard to ignore. In the morning, I plan to have a serious talk with my husband, but I also need to talk to a lawyer about divorce and custody. I've worked hard to build my own career and finances, so I know I can support myself and my daughter. But it's still scary to think about what the future holds. I'm trying to remind myself that I deserve better than this. My mother's voice has been echoing in my head, urging me to think about my daughter. But I need to prioritize my own happiness, too. Staying in a relationship built on lies and betrayal isn't healthy for any of us. I want my daughter to grow up in a loving environment, not one where her parents are constantly at odds. I also need to confront my mother about the fact that she knew about my husband's cheating and didn't tell me. She claims she didn't want my daughter to grow up without a father, but I feel betrayed. I have to set boundaries and make it clear that I need her support. Not just for my daughter's sake, but for my own sanity. For now, I'm staying with my in-laws, who have really embraced me during this time. It feels nice to be part of a family that genuinely cares for me. I think it's important for my daughter to have a relationship with them, especially since my own father wasn't really a father figure in my life. What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for breaking up with and kicking my girlfriend out because she went to an after-party without me? I, 24M, and my girlfriend, 23F, and began dating in college last week and invited me to her coworker's Joe party. I had heard a lot about him in the past, and he and she really seemed to have a lot in common, especially with their taste in music. Apparently, he was an amateur musician with a fairly successful YouTube channel. Joe initially invited only, but when she asked him if I could tag along, he said it was fine. The party was on Saturday evening. It was a fun party with about 30 people, held at a restaurant Joe had rented out. Towards the end, though, I wandered into Anne's little discussion group, and I immediately got the feeling that nobody really wanted me there. Most of all, Anne. It was her, Joe, and a few other people. Thinking that I was just imagining things, I hung around and listened to Joe basically boast about himself the whole time. A little while later, I wandered off to get myself a drink and chat with a few other people. Eventually, the time to leave came around, and I went to find, and again, Joe approached me at that point and said that he was having an after-party over at his house. I was going to refuse, but then he said, "Sorry man, but only," and is invited while clapping me on the shoulder. I first told him not to touch me, and then said she's not going. He informed me that she had already accepted the invitation. I texted and immediately to ask where she was. She responded, "Sorry, on the way to Joe's place. I'll see you tomorrow, love you." I asked if she knew I wasn't invited, and she then left me on read. Texts after that were all ignored. I drove home furious. I stayed up all night, and finally walked in the door at 5:42 a.m. I know, because I was by the window watching. I recognized the car as Joe's and the driver as Joe. Nobody else was in the car, and waved to him cutely and laughed at something he said, and came inside and acted surprised to see me still up. At that point, I flatly told her that we were done, and she had the rest of the day to move out, and was at first confused with me. And then I told her that she can just move in with Joe. She rolled her eyes and said nothing happened. She gave me this spiel about my insecurities and imagination. I said it didn't matter. After this back and forward arguing, and finally relented and sarcastically thanked me for wasting the best years of her life, and finally moved out yesterday, and it was pretty dramatic. She said that she loved me and that I was throwing away everything over a party. Did I do her wrong here? I feel like I'm getting gaslight. You've sat down. You've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.